All right, here we are, SummerSlam 2016. Now, chances are this is probably going to be going up Monday morning, maybe early Monday afternoon, but as of this point, it is Sunday night. I have just finished watching SummerSlam. It ended about 5 minutes ago or so. For a show that was 4 hours long and had 14 matches on it, I'll say this, it was at least better than WrestleMania. That being said, it was by no means perfect, and we'll get to that. Starting things off, our kickoff show matches, there are 3 of them. I guess to compensate for some more time, they wised up and decided if we're going to have a 2-hour kickoff show, we should probably have more than just 2 matches on it. Okay, our first match is the 12-man tag team match, the Vaudevillains versus the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, Breezango versus the Usos, American Alpha, and the Hype Bros. Starting things off, are Chad Gable and Tyler Breeze. Mauro Ranallo made a Ryan Lochte joke at some point. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was 6 hours ago, people. Gable countered an arm wrench into a leg centers and tagged in Jay Uso. I initially wrote Jimmy. It was Jay. The Hype Bros come in. They hit a suplex missile dropkick combo on Aiden English. American Alpha hit dual top rope clotheslines on both members of the Ascension. The Ascension hit a double team move on Zack Ryder. At this point, Zack Ryder was in the match quite a bit. Breezango hit a half crab leg drop combination on Zack Ryder. At this point, a big schmozz broke out. A whole bunch of guys were in the ring. Jason Jordan tagged into the ring. Chad Gable tagged into the ring. They hit the Grand Amplitude. It's at that point that Jimmy Uso had actually blind tagged into the ring, and it was Jimmy this time. Jimmy hits the Uso splash, so the winners are essentially the faces, the Usos, American Alpha, and the Hype Bros. Afterwards, there was a little bit of tension between American Alpha and the Usos over who got the right for the pinfall there. Don't know if that's teasing something. Maybe they're finally going to turn the Usos heel. A pretty good match, except I know they did this on SmackDown like a few days ago, so it just, again, feels like a big rerun. Also, another thing is the new Tag Team Championships. They are going to have one on SmackDown Tag Team Championships soon. Probably going to have a tournament or something that will culminate at Backlash. Also, they said Kalisto was injured, so the matchup between Baron Corbin and Kalisto, I think was actually a picture for it. I may be wrong on that, but I guess they called that off. Baron Corbin came on to the kickoff show set and complained quite vociferously. Okay, our second match is the tag team match between Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville taking on the Dudley Boyz. Neville and Devon started things off. Neville and Zayn had made a lot of frequent tags right away early on. Neville actually used Zayn as a springboard for a corkscrew moonsault onto Bubba Ray, I believe. Again, it was a while ago, people. Sorry. The Dudleys eventually began to isolate Neville. Bubba mocked Zayn's ole, 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 ole chant for hitting Neville with a leg drop from the second rope. Neville eventually countered a 3D, which led to Bubba accidentally clocking Devon with a clothesline, allowing Zayn to come in and hit the Luva kick. Neville hit the right arrow for the 3 count. Good guys win. A pretty straightforward match. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but I'm not going to complain too much. Okay, our third match is the first match in the Best of 7 series between Cesaro and Sheamus. Early on, Cesaro hit a standing double stomp on Sheamus and then clotheslined him out of the ring. Sheamus then tossed Cesaro into the ring post. Cesaro actually hit an angle slam on Sheamus for a 2 count. Sheamus countered with an Irish Curse backbreaker for a 2 count. At one point, the two began tangling together. They both tumbled out of the ring. And, let's see, Sheamus actually just drilled the top of his head right on the edge of the ring apron. And this is the hard camera ring apron side with the big LED board. So that's where he hit his head. Cesaro then superplexed Sheamus back into the ring. Sheamus countered a neutralizer into a white noise for a 2 count. Cesaro countered a brogue kick with a lariat, but then Sheamus came back and hit another brogue kick for a 3 count and the victory in the first match of the Best of 7. The match itself, it was probably the most entertaining of the kickoff show matches. I will say that. Like I said, that nasty bump they took where they both tumbled out of the ring. Those guys have got to be a bit more careful next time. Okay, on to the show proper now. Starting things off, we have Enzo and Cass taking on Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, otherwise known as Jericho. Immediately, Owens and Jericho jumped Enzo. Enzo tagged in Cass briefly. Jericho hurriedly just ran to the other side of the ring immediately and tagged in Owens. Cass tossed Enzo over the top rope onto Owens and Jericho. They did that spot. Owens and Jericho eventually began to isolate Enzo and began double teaming him constantly. Enzo constantly tried to tag in Cass, but Jericho just kept cutting him off. Owens hit a frog splash on Enzo for a 2 count. Enzo dodged an Owens cannonball attack, finally got the tag to Cass. Owens threw Cass into the ring post. Enzo hit a top rope DDT on Jericho, but then Owens came in, broke up the pin. Then they did kind of a back body drop into a code breaker for the 3 count and the victory. Yeah, this was a pretty, again, a very straightforward match. Not terrible. I'm not going to bag on it too much. It was, Jericho and Owens work surprisingly well together. They're really funny together, obviously. So I'm looking forward to those two maybe doing more things in the future. Okay, our fifth match overall, second match of the show proper, is the WWE Women's Championship match, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Early on, Sasha hit an early head scissors and then tried to lock on the Banks statement, but Charlotte rolled out of the ring. Sasha hit a head scissors on Charlotte into the second turnbuckle. At another point, they tried to do this spot where I think Charlotte sort of tried to lay Sasha across the corner of the ring, except Sasha missed it. Someone missed something, and Sasha's head just kind of clipped the top rope, and bang, she fell right down on the nasty bump there, too. This kind of hurt Sasha's back, and she was selling the back the rest of the match. Charlotte locked on a gory special on Sasha. Sasha countered a top rope razor's edge into a hurricane run as she began to rally back at this point. Sasha did a Boston Crab on the top rope, which entered Charlotte's back, and then hit the double knee stomp in the corner. Sasha hit the double knees from the top rope onto the floor. Sasha countered a natural selection into a bank statement. Charlotte just managed to fight her way out of it. She hit a natural selection, only got a 2 count. Sasha hit a tilt-a-whirl into the bank statement. She had it locked on in the middle of the ring. Charlotte couldn't get to the ropes. Charlotte managed to lean back into a pinning situation. The only way Sasha could have kicked out was to let go of the bank statement. She did not. Ref counted 3. Charlotte is the new women's champion. Not quite as good as their Raw match was, but early on, this was probably the main contender for match of the night until a couple of the matches happened, and we'll get to them. Yeah, sorry if there's a lot of cuts going on here. I am still fighting a cough. Excuse me. Anyway, our next match is the Intercontinental Championship match, Miz versus Apollo Crews. Again, straight away, Miz jumped Apollo. Crews managed to counter a kick into a roll-up attempt. Crews countered a Miz top rope move with a drop kick. Miz countered a standing moonsault with his knees. Crews countered a Miz clothesline into a big belly suplex, hit the standing moonsault, got a 2 count. Crews tried to do a big splash in the corner. Miz dodged out of the way. Crews did the Starch Bumper. He hit the head into the ring post. That enabled Miz to hit the skull-crushing finale for a 3 count, and it was over. Yeah, not surprised they didn't put the belt on Crews just yet. Crews is a heck of an athlete, I'll admit it, but he has no character. He is Bobby Lashley 2.0. If you, like I said, if you remember if you think of Bobby Lashley in TNA, that is not the Bobby Lashley that was in WWE. Bobby Lashley was blander than cardboard in WWE. In TNA, he actually found a character. He's actually doing better things in TNA than he was in WWE. Anyway, and that leads us to match 7, John Cena versus AJ Styles. Early on, I think there was something happened weird. I don't know what it was exactly, but there might have been a botched headlock. Cena had Styles in one of them had a guy in a headlock, and I think Cena had Styles in a headlock. Suddenly, Styles just kind of fought his way out of it and started yelling and did this kind of pounding thing. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if that was part of the show or not. But anyway, AJ hit a big drop kick and started playing to the crowd that allowed Cena to kind of regain his consciousness and hit AJ with the right cross. AJ suplexed Cena onto the ring apron. My mistake. They both took a tumble there. This was not the LED board side. This was the regular ring apron side. So, well, it was bad. It wasn't as bad, I think, as the Cesaro Sheamus one. AJ countered an AA with a Pele kick and then hit the Styles Clash and got a 2 count. Cena hit the Attitude Adjustment and got another 2 count. Styles hit a Torture Rack Powerbomb and got a 2 count. Cena hit a Follow-Away Cutter for a 2 count. Styles hit an Attitude Adjustment and got a 2 count. Well, not quite an Attitude Adjustment. He did the Attitude Adjustment move, but instead of landing right onto the ground, he stuck his knee out, and so Cena's neck hit his knee, and that got a 2 count. Styles hit a Face Buster for a 2 count. Cena countered a Phenomenal Forearm into an STF. Styles countered the STF into a crossface. Styles countered an Attitude Adjustment into the Calf Crusher. Cena countered the Calf Crusher back into an STF. Styles eventually hit a top rope Frankenstein and followed it with a Phenomenal Forearm, got a 2 count. At this point, Cena managed to get Styles into the ring corner, hit the Super AA Attitude Adjustment, and only got a 2 count. At this point, Cena just kind of like, what in the world is going on? Like, I can't beat this guy. I can't beat this guy. And then Styles hits a Style Clash and followed it with a Phenomenal Forearm, gets the 3 count and the victory. So, no, this was not the typical John Cena comes back for the victory or Cena wins Cena lol. I think that's the meme, right? No, that did not happen this time. AJ Styles has got 2 victories now in one-on-one matches over John Cena. Like I said, this, again, you could probably make a counterpoint that this was probably the match of the night. But there might be another one to top that. Just wait. Anyway, our next match is the World Tag Team Championship match. New Day versus The Club. And because Big E was still injured, they had Jon Stewart introduce them. Jon Stewart trying to make amends for what happened last SummerSlam. Anyway, Kofi and Carl Anderson started things off. Kofi and Xavier teamed up and hit Anderson with a faceplant. Gallows tagged in and went after Xavier. Kofi and Xavier hit Gallows with the Unicorn Stampede. Kofi hit a flying hip attack on Gallows and knocked him out of the flew out of the ring to hit the hip attack on Gallows, actually. Xavier hit a dropkick on Anderson, got a 2 count. Xavier hit a springboard elbow drop for a 2 count. It's at that point Gallows and Anderson started to rally back. They hit the Magic Killer. They start going for the pin, but then Jon Stewart gets in the ring and starts interfering in the match again. Gallows and Anderson start going after Jon Stewart. They start trying to do what they did to Big E and pull him into the ring post. It's then the New Day music hits again, and Big E comes running down to the ring. He jumps Gallows and Anderson and matches a no contest, or a DQ. And, yeah, that ended on a bit of a turd. I mean, it was nice to see Big E come back, but to be honest, I think the New Day's tag team title reign is going a little too long now. I really would have liked to have seen the club win this one. Okay, our next match is the WWE World Championship match. Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler. Ambrose and Ziggler, again, start to get into a fight before the bell rings during the intros. Right away, Ziggler went for a roll-up. Ziggler hit a splash neckbreaker combo outside the ring. Ambrose countered DDT and threw Ziggler out of the ring. Ambrose did a suicide dive again. Ziggler countered an Ambrose top move with a drop kick, a top rope move with a drop kick. Ambrose countered a Famouser into a roll-up. Eventually, Ziggler did hit a Famouser for a 2 count. Ziggler hit a super kick. Ambrose fell back and draped himself across the barricade. Eventually, they got back into the ring. Ziggler countered Dirty Deeds with a zigzag and only got a 2 count. They started fighting on the top rope. Ziggler tried to do a face buster off of the top rope, but Ambrose countered that into a dirty deeds for the 3 count. Ambrose retains. This was a pretty good match. There was a lot of slow bits into it. There was a lot of sleeper holds, a lot of points where the guys knocked each other out. They're just lying down in the ring, so that does kind of hold a little bit back in this, but it was a good, solid match, so I'm not going to complain too much. And that leads us into our next match, the 6-woman tag. Naomi, Becky Lynch, and Carmella versus Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie, and Natalya. Now, obviously, if you've known the WWE news recently, Eva Marie got suspended. So what did they do? Did they have her compete in the pay-per-view? No, they played her intro, and then it gets to this point. The fabulous Eva Marie is suffering from exhaustion due to all the negativity she's been receiving from social media. So she's taking a vacation and is unable to compete. Instead, we have Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella is back. I know she had gotten cleared to begin training again. I didn't know she'd gotten cleared to officially work in the ring, though. So that was surprising. And it was even more surprising as Nikki Bella came out to a face pop. Remember, she's teaming with the heel women in this scenario. Early on, Naomi did a split leg drop for a 2 count. Carmella tagged in. Carmella hit Natalya with the tornado head scissors. Eventually, Nikki Bella did tag in. She didn't do much a lot of the way. She got chopped a bit. Didn't take an actual bump for a few points. Alexa Bliss came in and hit a moonsault knee drop for a 2 count. Becky Lynch got the hot tag in. Alexa Bliss interfered on a pin. Natalya briefly got the upper hand. Nikki came in and hit a drop kick on Becky. It's at this point that Carmella tagged in and got a big super kick on Nikki, so Nikki did actually take an actual bump, so I guess this means she's cleared for more in-ring action. Anyway, she followed that back up with a Bronco Buster. It's then that Bliss and Natalya interfered, allowing Nikki to hit her new finisher, which is basically the TKO for the 3 count, and the heel women win. Okay, our next match is the WWE Universal Championship match. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Right away, Finn Balor did his dropkick into the corner, then went for the coup de grace, but Rollins managed to roll out of the ring. Balor hit a suicide dive onto Rollins right away. Rollins then whipped Balor into the timekeeper's area, and then Balor did this thing where he basically he kind of rose like The Undertaker did. He just rose straight up, kind of unfazed. Rollins whipped Balor. Rollins hit a power bomb on Balor into the barricade. Rollins hit a flying knee and followed it with a frog splash for a 2 count. Balor countered a short arm clothesline into a DDT. Balor countered a pedigree into a Pele kick, and then followed it up with the 1916 and got a 2 count. Balor went for another coup de grace, but excuse me. Rollins countered that into a triangle choke. Balor eventually rolled out of the ring. Rollins hit a buckle bomb and a super kick and got a 2 count. Balor hit a drop kick on Rollins into the barricade. It hit a second coup de grace on a standing Rollins for a 2 count. Rollins hit a pedigree and got a 2 count. Rollins went for another pedigree. Balor fought out of it, hit 2 corner drop kicks, followed that up with a coup de grace, and got the 3 count. Your first ever Universal Champion, Finn Balor. And again, another easy contender for match of the night. This had a lot of good drama in it. Both guys are really good workers. You didn't know. It's like you saw Balor hit those first 2 coup de grace. You think, okay, maybe he's not going to win this. Then Rollins hits the pedigree, and you think, okay, it's over. And then Balor kicks out, and they really did a good job with this match. This will probably be my vote for match of the night. Okay, our second to last match of the night is the WWE United States Championship match, Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Before the bell even rang, Rusev jumped Reigns. Noticing a motif here, this happened several times. Rusev hit Reigns with the ring steps. Eventually Reigns started to fight back, tossed Rusev into the timekeeper's area. Like I said, the match had not started at this point. Basically at this, then all these refs started coming down, trying to break it up. The 2 guys kept pounding on each other. Eventually, Reigns grabbed a chair and started hitting Rusev with it. Match was declared a no contest. It didn't even start, so, yeah. Afterwards, Reigns did come down and spear Rusev one more time, and the crowd was dead. They didn't care. So, yeah. And that leads us to our main event, Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. I will point this out, as Lesnar made his ring entrance, someone had a big "Got Juice" sign. Right away, Brock went for a suplex, but Orton fouled out of it. Eventually, Brock began hitting suplexes and suplexes after suplex after suplex. Lesnar power slammed Orton onto an announce table. It didn't break. He eventually threw Orton again onto the announce table. This time it broke. Orton, they then moved to the next announce table. Orton hit the RKO out of nowhere on the announce table. Orton then hit a Hangsman's DDT. Orton hit a second RKO and got a 2 count. Lesnar countered a punt kick into an F5 and only got a 2 count. And then at this point, Lesnar ripped off his gloves and just started pounding Orton's head over and over and over and over and over again. Randy busted open. They tried to check, but Lesnar just kept beating and beating and beating. They finally just called the match. They said Lesnar won by a TKO, but I'm saying he was DQ'd. I'm not giving that a victory to him. They just kept fighting. He just kept pounding Orton's head. Eventually, Lesnar just walked out of the ring. Everyone started chanting for Goldberg. Didn't happen. Nothing happened. And that's how they ended SummerSlam. It would have been a darn good show. Probably, I would have said, maybe the best pay-per-view of the year. Right up until the last 2 matches. To have 2 matches essentially end on no contest. I mean, one didn't even technically start. Yeah, that unfortunately really did kill this show. I'm still going to give this one a B. Like I said, for the most part, it was a really darn good show. Unfortunately, the last 2 matches killed it. And, you know, you could also argue the tag team match was not that great. The tag team title match, to be more precise, was not that great. But most of the other matches were really good, really solid. Standouts, obviously, the women's title match, Cena Styles, the Universal Championship match. I would even say the first match in the best of 7 between Sheamus and Cesaro. All really good matches. They more than make up for the really clunker matches. So, yeah, this was not a bad experience at all. See you next time.